shirt. That's why I don't wear white. Look how slim I look compared to.
I be looking slim in some white.
Nah,
not this one though.
I look like an egg in every white shirt I wear.
I'll get that taken care of.
I can't. I'm ready when you're ready.
Hey yo, that should be the clip. Oh shoot. Hey yo, welcome to another episode of the Good and Terrible Show. This is Mickey and I am Travis. And we are here to talk about 2010 fashion. We're trying to figure out what happened.
Where's the
drip? No, but what we mean by that is, listen, every single era has their own definitive fashion, right? When you think of a certain decade, you can automatically attribute what's going on. Now, this isn't to say, disclaimer, this is not to say that 2010's fashion was bad, because it actually was a pretty decent decade when it came to how people were dressed. I definitely liked how we as men dressed better in the 2010s versus what we wore in the 2000s. Because I got pictures in both, and I can clearly see the difference. I know y'all can't.
You hide those albums. You're like, we're gonna take this off.
Then
Facebook.
the joints you put on private. Shoot, I got pictures from my MySpace days. I hope never get leaked.
Good Lord!
I hope nobody ever finds my password.
Once we hit viral, all them joints gonna get leaked.
Shoot, I don't even know if you can find it. I ain't even seen my MySpace page in years.
Hey, but you know people go back and find your old stuff.
I don't know how they gonna find it. I hope they don't.
Know.
But so just a disclaimer there. What we mean by that is while 2010's fashion, while we dressed well, I will say, I think we dressed pretty well as
better
a decade.
Than the 2000s.
At least better than the 2000s comparatively. But as we go into the new decade with 2020 here, looking back at the last decade, we were talking about this. We can't help but wonder, what was the identity of 2010's fashion? So that's what we mean by what happened. Because somewhere along the line, we kind of lost the identity of what it was. There was not a whole lot of new fashion that happened in 2010s. When you think about it, we did an episode last week of 70s versus 80s. When you think of the 1970s, you have a clear image of an outfit that comes to mind,
right.
or outfits that come to mind, of a look that you think identifies with the 1970s.
Or
and the same thing, or hairstyles, right? Jewelry, shoes, clothes, hairstyles. You can think of, if I say 1950s, you get a picture in your head, right? Whether it might be, the permed hair on guys, or you might have that little, what's it called? It's almost like a bob, kind of like a poofy bob like the Supremes had, and different things like that. In the 50s and 60s,
those were wigs,
you had, right, you had hair like that. You know what I'm saying? You had the different shoes. The leather jackets with the tight jeans in the 50s.
The hoop skirts. I
the hoop skirts, you know what I'm saying? If I say 80s, you can automatically attribute some things to the 80s, whether there's a bucket hat or a Kangol, you know what I'm saying? The medallions, the shell-toe Adidas, tracksuits, jumpsuits, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy makeup,
the big hair on the like the 80s chicks, you know what I'm saying? Like
the
Madonna
hair
and Whitney Houston and them, you guys had a lot of feather hair. Hairspray was huge. Hairspray was a big thing in the 1980s. Different things like that. And then, in 1990s, you can talk about, what was going on in the 90s, right? You had the bright colors, the vibrant colors, baggier clothes, different things like that. You had, the emergence of, some of the black-owned brands and different things like that. You had Dapper Dan, you had Pelly, and then Sean John and different things like that.
Came out.
Even in the 2000s, which I think a lot of people kind of claim as the dark ages of fashion. Let's just say,
it wasn't our best.
Listen, you had the 5'20" tall tees at Foot Locker. You know what I'm saying? In every color, I know I did. Every color: red, brown, blue, black.
You had to have
gray.
a tall white tee. The white tee. There were guys that wore white tees. I feel like the whole year of high school, and I was like, "Is that the same crispy white tee from last week?"
Nope, he just had 7 pairs.
Yeah, like 10 pairs. And I feel like, not to cut you off, I feel like then, even though fashion was kind of dull, it was simple. It was like, you get a white tee, you get some white Air Forces with some
For
jean
part of
shorts.
it, yeah.
With some jean shorts, you good.
And even if you didn't like the look, you can still point to that decade and say, I know what 2000s fashion looked like.
Yes.
Throwback jerseys, right? You might have had the button-ups with the white tees underneath it.
Yep.
You know, the big baggy jeans that like sag all the way down, or like the like capri type jeans and different things. Air Force Ones.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it was like probably the first day I can remember since they came out, the Jordans really weren't that popping like that.
You know what? That's funny. I think the same thing, because even I didn't have Jordans in high school, but even thinking back, most guys wore Air Forces. It was Air Forces. Even phone
posits was
I
kind of
remember
big
seeing
too.
phone posits.
Jordans had taken a little bit of a break from being like the shoe in that decade. You know what I'm saying? Like they was huge in the 90s, obviously, and even in the early 2000s as this decade started, they were kind of big, but then they kind of faded out as the decade went on, and then people weren't really rocking Jordans like that. Now then, at the very end is when they kind of picked back up again, and the whole sneakerhead culture began.
Because of what song? What song I'm thinking of?
What's that?
Of Nelly Air Force Ones. Because when that shit came out,
well, no, that was early 2000s. I'm talking about when Jordans came back.
Oh, okay. But I was thinking Air Forces, like when that song came out, if you didn't have Air Forces, you went and got some Air Forces.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, because I had like 5 pairs of Air Forces, maybe even more. I don't even know. But then Nelly also had a song called "Stepped on My J's" later on.
He did, yeah.
So I feel like Nelly might have low key not got enough credit in the shoe game.
He definitely did, because he was always
a shoe influencer.
He matched his sweatsuit with his headband, with the band. Everything it was coordinated.
Yeah, but that brings us to our point with 2010's fashion. There wasn't a whole lot new. Now history always repeats itself in terms of fashion, right? So I feel like what 2010's fashion did was take elements of the 90s with the 60s/70s, like late 60s going into the 70s, because they had, like bohemian stuff in it too. You know what I'm saying? And then just kind of add little twists, to it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a whole lot that was new that was created in the 2010s. I think looking back, when you look at the 2010s as a decade, you can't really point to a whole lot of specific looks that happened. The only new things, we were sitting there talking about this last week, there's only a couple actual like new things that I can associate with the 2010s. The first is joggers, right?
Yes.
Joggers might be one of the first things that's completely
and I had to sit
new.
And go,
yeah.
We did just pop up. Somebody just put them on and we're like, okay.
I'm wearing them right now. The 2010s decade saw the emergence of joggers.
Comfort.
We never really saw them before, where you can wear sweatpants, track pants, or even more dressy stuff. They don't even have to be this material.
You know how comfortable I am right now? Sweet Jesus.
You always comfortable.
You dang Skippy.
Even if they're jeans, you got jean joggers now. You got khaki joggers now. Chino joggers now. Everything has that finished bottom. At the bottom of the pants that everybody likes to wear. Just kind of highlight, and define the ankles.
Show your ankle bracelet.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
It's on my other foot.
Yes, I see.
He makes fun of me for an ankle bracelet since he's a Bama.
Because you're from Agrabah.
I'll take that. I love Agrabah.
Because you're an extra in Aladdin.
I was the monkey.
Oh, the monkey?
I was Abu.
You the coolest monkey in the jungle?
Oh my God. Don't say that. That's not funny.
Oh, man.
You're going to get us fired.
Oh, man. Definitely joggers. And the other thing I can think of would be skinny jeans. And
oh, God.
I can't even consider skinny jeans to be completely original, because you kind of saw some elements of that in like 50s fashion too. But I feel like 2010s, in the grease type era. You know what I'm saying?
Johnson was rocking them. He had
those was in the 70s. That movie was in the 70s, but it was about the 50s.
About the 50s. But you could see his blood pressure in them jeans. I was like, good Lord, boy. We're just tight. He had the original fashion.
You can count his cholesterol in that.
He had the original booty poppers in the 50s.
Yeah. So, you kind of got taking things back into, the more hipster looks of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, different things like that. Mm-hmm. It just kind of made a small twist to it, but it's not a whole lot of unique individual stuff that came out in the 2010s.
Would you say, I guess I was going to say hats for men? Like, I feel like now we're wearing more dad hats, but then it was more, it's like dad hats, fitted hats, and
2000,
snapbacks,
the 2000s right? was like the era of fitteds. Right? Fitteds was the go-to. Mm-hmm. When you started the 2010s, snapbacks became the hat of choice.
Right.
And if you look at the early 2010s, like maybe 2010 through 13, 14, snapbacks was...
Is this considered a snapback or...
I would consider this a dad hat.
Okay, dad hat, okay.
Yeah, this is a... Because first of all,
it's
got the curved brim, and also it's got the adjustable thing. Some dad hats do have the snapback thing on it, but I would still call them dad hats.
I prefer these over snapbacks, because snapbacks, if you're not careful, it'll...
I was partial to both, for real, but even still, both of those are not even original. Snapbacks was huge in the 90s, and then you had...
We recycled it.
Exactly, and they recycled it, and then even Dad's been wearing them forever.
Remember when we were wearing the trucker hats? Remember like the John Deere and the
I did not do that. That was the trend that I skipped.
That was like huge, like Von Dutch and Ed Hardy hats.
But that was 2000s.
Right, but I'm just saying like the hat, like... People were just wearing hats, and now, like, I wear dad hats all the time, even with my braids. You wear dad hats all the time. And it's, like, just part of regular fashion now. Like, it doesn't look bummy. It's not like, my hair's not done. It's like, no, I'm wearing this on purpose.
So 2010's fashion is really just kind of an era of taking elements from other decades and making it cool again. I think that's the biggest thing that defines 2010's. It's just rebranding and recycling everything else.
Copy-paste.
Not a whole lot of... Now, I will say... this is a little bit outside of clothes, but it kind of in still the fashion era. When it comes to women, the biggest, most original thing I saw from women in 2010s is contouring.
Yes.
Because y'all took the makeup game to a whole different level.
Makeup game was hitting on.
Y'all don't even look like yourselves no more.
We're supposed to. This ain't me.
Y'all took your cheeks and
Me's
somehow...
gonna be in the bathroom and on the wiping like that. No,
y'all took your cheeks and shaved whole cheek meat off your face. I don't understand how you did it. I blame the Kardashians.
You know what? It's kind of true though, because Kim Kardashian was one of the first people that I saw, and I was like, how did she get her jaw and her cheeks so chipped? But pre-surgery, because now, of course, is a lot of plastic surgery. But even then, her makeup was always like, she always looked like she had that pronounced jawline and pronounced cheek and face. And then, I don't know who took it off, but somebody just ran with it. And with makeup, just like style, just like fashion or clothes, it's like once someone sees it, everybody duplicates. I want to look like this. And then we all just follow suit. Of course, contour now is still really big and huge. And highlight, too. I don't know if we're really doing highlight in 2000. I wasn't in 2000.
I'm sure highlights, but highlights isn't an original thing. Just like with all the plastic surgery.
No, highlights on, like, makeup.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, but that's not an original thing either, though, is what I'm saying. Highlight's been around.
Yeah.
Like, they've always had highlight. It's just now they're just using it more.
But now we use it more.
Right.
Like, I have it on right now. And, like, if I don't have a highlight on, it's not the same.
Just like with plastic surgery. You see... Obviously, plastic surgery's been around for decades. But y'all took it to a whole other level with this decade here that we just got out of.
People getting their knees done. When I heard that you could do that, I was like, that has to be a joke. Who's getting their knees? Painful. But it's like... So your knee is too fat? Like I think
that's more of a health thing. I don't think people would just...
No, I know someone. I will tell you the person when we finish this episode.
There's a lot of people. Say it on here. There's some people that have got it over in like Asia and stuff like that for like health related reasons, but it's not like a super prevalent thing here in America.
It's the vanity part. Like the person I'm speaking of probably was more for vanity, but it's the vanity of it all. Like, oh, my nose is too wide. I'm gonna get it shaved down. My lips are too small, and I would say but definitely boobs. Because remember in the 90s, it was everybody wanted big boobs. Everybody wanted to be Pam Anderson, and then now it's like everybody wants a big butt. But it's like if it's not proportioned, it's like don't.
Ladies, a BBL, a Brazilian butt lift, still counts as plastic surgery. I don't want to hear it, but it's your own fat and you transferred it to another.
It is.
I don't care. It's still plastic surgery. If you have to call a doctor to do that, that's still plastic surgery. That is not real.
Get your blood drawn.
Your booty, if it didn't grow like that, it's not real. Give me organic fat booty.
I said, my opinion, we'll have a plastic surgery. We're coming up with topics as we're talking about stuff. I guess it's plastic surgery. I said a fat transfer. If you take the fat from your belly and put it in your butt, that's still it's your fat.
That's not your butt, though.
You're just moving it.
It's not your butt.
I'm rearranging.
It's your fat, but it's not your butt. That is plastic surgery. You called a plastic surgeon to do that.
You did, but I'm not adding. A cosmetic surgeon. In my head, I'm thinking it's not an implant, so I'm not adding anything to my body. I'm just taking it from here and putting it back.
Nope.
Not that I would do that, but I'm just saying.
It doesn't need to be an implant to be plastic surgery.
I'm not gonna hold you. I thought about it one time. I was like, I wonder. And I asked my mom. My mom was like, "Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with your butt." And I was like, "Well, what if?" Because like nowadays everybody wants they want the curvy body, and they want to be thick. But if you're thick now, you gotta have the flat stomach, which is unrealistic. Because most women like me that are thick, our stomachs are not flat. It's just not gonna be flat. But a lot of girls that had made a little bit belly would take it and put it in their butt. I don't think anything's wrong with it. Like I said, I thought about it.
It's still plastic.
My mom was like, no.
That's still a fake booty. I don't care. That's not a real booty.
I was like, man, shut up, Mom.
But we on a tangent now.
We are.
But anyways, we just wanted to throw this little quick video up for y'all and kind of talk about some of the things we noticed in the past decade of fashion. This is just, something kind of small. That let us know what you think, though. If we missed something in 2010's decade, or if you disagree with us, if you think that we completely off and that that the style is completely original, let us know. Give us feedback. Put it in the comments.
Show us pictures. Tag us on Instagram.
Give us
examples. And say this is what it was about.
Exactly. So we can see visuals. Maybe we're off.
I'm not hitting on anything.
I was about to say I can't think of a daggone thing. And y'all know I pay attention. When it comes to clothes, I pay attention to the style game. So
and food.
And food. You don't get this belly for nothing. I grew this myself.
I had to say
it's
that.
organic, non-GMO. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Good and Terrible Show. You guys have a great rest of your night. My name is Travis.
My name is Mickey.
And thank you again for watching.
Bye.
That's so good, ain't it?